All right, welcome to a Bellows Blades first impressions and unboxing review. And really, I shouldn't say review. It is definitely going to be more of just a initial impressions video. This is a knife that I received as a gift. I didn't know anything about it other than it was going to be a ProTech, which of course is obvious as soon as you get the box out. So I'm kind of discovering it along with you as I open it up for the first time, and excited to just see what we got here. Now you can of course look at the sticker on the side, and it kind of gives away what's in the box. It looks like it's a Rockeye Auto. It's got the CPM S35VN blade. Looks like a blue handle with a stonewash finish on the blade. So sounds like a nice knife. Let's take a look at it. So with the ProTechs, you get the nice presentation in the box. You've got your made in the USA here. Again, this is part of the reason why the ProTechs are a little bit pricier, because they are quality craftsmanship made in the USA. They come in a little pouch like this, and I'm going to go ahead and see what we got here. We're going to take this one out. All right. I'll tell you right off the bat, I like the blue handle as far as the color goes. Very nice looking handle. I think the blue just pops. That's me. Of course, I am colorblind, so it may pop more or less to someone else. I'm not sure. Can tell that the blade is definitely very well centered there, which I would expect no less for this type of knife from a company like ProTech. And this one I think said was an auto, and that makes sense since I don't see any other way to deploy it other than potentially pushing the button. ProTech is mostly known for their autos, although I would say that the Malibu, which is a manual folder, has become probably one of their more famous designs recently. But they really got their start and made their name with autos, and that's really where their bread and butter is. So we're going to see how this thing works. Holy cow, guys. I have opened a lot of autos in my day, not ProTechs. I've not had a lot of experience with ProTech, but I got to say that was probably the most impressive open for a side opening auto that I personally, wow. That is a really strong spring in there. That thing flies open, guys. Feels really, really good when it opens. Very authoritative. Yeah, guys, I can tell you already, I'm going to love this knife. The S35VN, of course, is a great steel, not knocking that steel. It's funny, though, how as steels come out and you get the newest, the greatest, and the best steels coming out, the hottest thing on the market right now, how steels that at one point were considered the very top of the line kind of fall out of favor a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say that people don't still like the S30 and the S35 steels. They do. They're great steels. But they just don't have that razzle dazzle that you get with like the Magna Cut, things like that. So, but hey, man, S35VN is a great steel. This is going to be a good hard use steel. You can really, go to work with a knife like this. This is a workhorse blade that you've got on this knife. So yeah, I'm excited to get a chance to really use this thing and just see what I think of it. You can see here that it says George on it. And I think that, yeah, I think that is the designer. Again, I didn't know what I was getting, so I didn't get a chance to research these knives really at all before I opened the box. And I'm not overly familiar with ProTech. I don't have a lot of experience with ProTechs. I know they make a very good knife. I know that it's a quality knife, but I myself have not had a lot of experience with them. So I'm assuming that is a collaboration. I'll get that word out. Collaboration with a designer, and that is probably the designer's mark on that knife. I'm going to feel really stupid once I look it up and be like, oh yeah, that's obviously this is what this is, and I should have known that. But fairly confident that that's probably what that is. Again, guys, I don't know all the details of the knife because I literally didn't even know what it was till I just opened it here. The handle, it doesn't tell you what that's made out of. I'm going to follow up with a full review of this knife once I get a chance to carry it and use it. This is just initial impressions. So I'll tell you whether that's aluminum or whether that's titanium once I get a chance to look that up. Man, guys, that opening is crazy. If you've never opened a ProTech, man, I recommend you go out and try one. That's just really impressive. Generally, I'm more of a fan of out the front style automatics. I'm not as big of a fan of the out the side. But man, there's nothing to complain about on that thing. That just feels good when you open it. You can see here that the clip is not in any way reversible. it's what it is. So you've got a tip-up carry, a right-hand carry, and that's it. For me, that works. I'm right-handed, so I don't need anything else. I prefer to carry in this style or this configuration anyway, so that works really well. The handle, like I said, this is smooth, so we'll see how well that grips. But you do have that really deep finger groove here that lets you lock in on it, and I think that's going to help keep it in your hand. You can see I tend to have kind of somewhat clammier hands at times, and you can see on that smooth surface that that's already showing up there with the fingerprints and the moisture and whatever else. So that could cause a little bit of a traction issue, not having any kind of a pattern or any kind of a grip texture in this knife, just completely smooth scales. I think it looks really nice though. Definitely with the blue, just really looks nice. It's got a stonewash finish on the blade. I don't have other knives to compare it to. I don't have any of the specs on the knife because, again, I was just doing an impression video, not a review, which I will do later. But I do have a ruler nearby, so I can tell you at least what we're looking at. You're looking at just a little under 3.5 on the blade itself, and you're looking at just a little under 8.5 for the overall length of the knife. I will say that it is very light in the hand, so I don't know yet what the weight is. I'll have to look that up, but it is very light in the hand. And guys, for just initial impressions, man, I love this knife. Autos are always fun just to begin with, you know, so you can't have any complaints about that if it's legal where you live. Of course, not everybody lives in a place where you can have an auto. In fact, it was only here recently that you were allowed to have autos here where I live. So. But if you can get one, this thing feels really good opening. I love the blue. It just really pops. I love the way the knife looks. I like the design of the blade. You kind of have this drop point blade, but with a swedge on the back. I think that helps. I'm not a big fan of kind of the drop point. I prefer a more kind of an exaggerated clip point. For whatever reason, that's just my favorite blade design. But when you put the swedge on the back like that, I think it helps a lot. It just looks a lot better. Kind of almost gives it a little bit more of a clip point look, and so I do like that. I don't know that I would call that a clip point. I think it still falls a little closer to a drop point myself. Some people might disagree, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Impressions though, guys, I think I'm going to love this knife. I really do. I'm looking forward to carrying this thing around in my pocket for a while, getting a chance to use it, and then getting back on the channel and letting you know what I think. But those are kind of my first impressions of the knife. Just getting it in. Man, no complaints so far. So we'll see what I think once I've had a chance to use it.